If there's one thing that people always give Notre Dame football credit for, it is the development of the tight end position. There are literally so many tight ends that have come out of South Bend that it's not even worth naming that many, but in recent memory, you've had guys such as Tyler Eifert, Kyle Rudolph, and Michael Mayer. Those are just some of them, but it looks like the Fighting Irish have found their next great tight end, who I think could make a big impact in the NFL and be around for a long time. His name is Mitchell Evans. Last year, I was there to watch the Ohio State Notre Dame game, and Mitchell Evans just had that it factor. He caught pretty much everything that went his way, he looks the par for a future NFL tight end, and had that fire in his eyes that makes a player become a superstar. Evans was the #1 guy for Notre Dame last year until he unfortunately got hurt, and now as we go into the future and into 2024, I think Mitchell Evans is going to take over college football, and I think he's the best tight end in the country. That is my personal opinion, and in today's video, I'm going to introduce you to him. We're going to talk about his journey, how he went from a 3-star recruit to potentially the best tight end in college football, his outlook for the year, and just how good he could be in the future. But before we get started, if you're a big fan of college football, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you want to support today's video, and let me know what player, team, topic, or situation I can cover next. Now let's get started and talk about the rise of Mitchell Evans. In order to understand how Evans got to this point, we first need to go back in time. Honestly, I didn't think I would ever actually make this video, but sports ran in the family as his mother played volleyball at Akron and his dad played on the football team at Kent State, which is in Ohio. His older sister currently plays volleyball at Georgia, so the Evans family is not new to sports stardom or being near the top. He ended up growing up in the town of Wadsworth, Ohio, and immediately was much stronger and bigger than his peers, showing he could one day play football at a high level. Wadsworth football head coach Justin Todd knew that Evans would be an exceptional candidate to play Division I football one day. He said, quote, "Between Mitch's sophomore and junior year, we assumed he was a D1 prospect due to his size and athleticism. As he grew into his body, it became very apparent his tangible measurements would be appealing to coaches at the next level. It would end up happening." Todd was also confident that all the effort and work that Evans put in would stand out to prospective coaches. He said, quote, "While dealing with an injury most of his junior year, Mitchell was able to put enough elite plays on film to give college recruiters a glimpse of what he could become." As a junior, he started to become the focal point in the offense as he caught 19 passes for 306 yards and 7 touchdowns, plus he ran the ball 3 times for 61 yards and a touchdown. This is when he got a ton of recruiting hype and attention, and this would go right into his senior year, and he would be surging. Apparently, he was also both a punter and a quarterback while he was at Wadsworth, as he made a varsity debut, throwing for 4 touchdowns in a 54-21 win over North Royalton. His coach would say, quote, "He's a once-in-a-generation kind of player. He deserves all the college offers and accolades, and he's deserving of everything he has." In terms of recruiting, his first offer would come from the Toledo Rockets before he would get offers from schools all around the country. As a senior, he had a pretty crazy stat line as he went 63 of 299 for 2,131 yards and 25 touchdowns. He did also have 6 interceptions, and then he ran the ball for 440 yards and 6 scores there. So yeah, he was pretty much a Swiss Army knife who did everything, and he kind of was the guy on this team. Where would Evans end up playing college football? Well, he was considered the number 26 tight end in the class of 2021, and he would eventually turn down offers from Iowa State, Michigan State, and Pittsburgh to join into Notre Dame's 2021 recruiting class. He came in alongside Kane Barong, and in total, he was a blue-chip recruit who had 26 offers. He found himself going to a prestigious school for both academics and football reasons, and many thought that Notre Dame was kind of taking a flyer on him. I mean, he was only a 3-star recruit, and at the tight end spot, Notre Dame can kind of afford to be picky and get whoever they want. I guess he was seen as a player who had a really high ceiling, and they just fell in love with him. Notre Dame would offer Evans on June 30th, and the Fighting Irish quickly rose to the top of his list. Recruits could not meet with college coaches in person at the time, but Evans took his own tour of South Bend. The South Bend campus during family weekend. That was July 17th through 19th, and he came away super impressed. Why did he go to the Irish? Well, he said, quote, "The moment I was on campus in July, it just clicked for me, and I knew I wanted to be a part of the program and the school. Their campus was amazing, and by far the most beautiful campus I've ever been to. I also didn't want to just go to school for football, as I was looking for an elite education, and Notre Dame has that." Scouts were still not all that high on him, as according to 24/7 Sports, Evans was a 3-star recruit, the number 23 tight end, and the 493rd best player in the class of 2021. So, how would Evans end up doing in South Bend? Well, let's take a look. Rather than joining the Fighting Irish for the summer after graduation, he decided he would graduate from Wadsworth High School early and head to South Bend. He said, quote, "It's going to be a step up from high school, but I think I'll be able to handle the pressure." One thing I really like about Evans that I think will translate to this season and to the eventual NFL level is that he never considered a redshirt during his time at Notre Dame. Not only was he not a 4-star recruit, but it's really hard to play in general as a freshman at Notre Dame. He said it was never going to happen, as he arrived in 2021 intending to play tight end, and sitting out was not going to be a part of the plan. He worked ridiculously hard, and in 2021 he actually got on the field. Not only did he get on the field, but he actually made a decent impact for them. In total in 2021, he would appear in all their games, but only ended up registering 2 catches for 21 yards. That came in a game against Virginia and in a game against Stanford. As I said, he was a reserve tight end and mostly played on special teams. While he was playing alongside Michael Mayer at the time, he still managed to average 40 snaps in the 8 games that he played in, and that's because he embraced the role of being a blocker early on in his career. Going into 2022, he would unfortunately have a major setback, as while Michael Mayer was the guy, he would not get a chance to play much, as he broke his foot during the offseason and eventually had to undergo surgery because of that. He had to fix a bone on the outside of his foot, but luckily he got an opportunity to play in 5 regular season games. He actually didn't register a single catch, but he did run the ball a total of 7 times and even had his first career touchdown. Again, this guy would do anything to get on the field. Eventually, Notre Dame would play against number 19 South Carolina in the Gator Bowl, and this is where Mayer showed that his potential was through the roof. In his first game as essentially the starting tight end, he caught 3 passes for 39 yards and his first career Notre Dame touchdown. This was definitely a big deal, and it came at a super great time for him too. Notre Dame really needed a play to win the game, and Tyler Buckner had a bold play design and eventually found Evans for a 16-yard game-winning touchdown with just over a minute and a half remaining. So it was a big play, and it was now living rent-free in the Notre Dame fanbase's head. It was a glimpse of the future, and apparently he showed Marcus Freeman that he could be tight end 1 moving forward. As I said, he had huge shoes to fill, as every single tight end to start a season opener has been drafted since Anthony Fasano back in 2004. That is huge shoes to fill, actually. He's also leaving after record-breaking tight end Michael Mayer, and he was selected to the Raiders, and Evans just picked up right where he left off. In 2023, he became the starter, and he'd make his first career start against Tennessee State, catching 4 passes for 61 yards in that one. After that, he'd have a catch against NC State, before he would show up big against number 6 Ohio State. This was one of the premier non-conference games of 2023, and as I said, I was personally at this game, and Mitchell Evans was all over the place. He caught a career-high 7 passes for 75 yards, including a circus catch. Unfortunately for Notre Dame fans, they ended up losing this game as they only had 10 men on the field, and Ohio State scored a walk-off running touchdown, but Mitchell Evans was only getting better. After that, he ended up catching 6 passes for 134 yards against Duke, and it truly looked like he was being unleashed. They ended up winning that game by a touchdown, and from there, Evans would continue to cook. He caught 4 passes for 71 yards and a touchdown in their loss to Louisville, helped them upset number 10 USC, and then had 5 catches for 66 yards against Pitt before he would suffer an injury. This was super unfortunate, and he would be held out for the remainder of the year. Before going down with the injury, his 422 receiving yards were 4th amongst all tight ends in the nation, and the only ones who had more were all supposed to be top 5 tight end picks in the 2024 draft. He also had 10 forced missed tackles, and that only trailed Brock Bowers. Ultimately, for the season, he had 29 catches for 422 yards and a touchdown, but it looked like he was just going to get better as the year went on. After he ended up getting hurt, Notre Dame looked to both Holden Stays and Eli Raridan to field, but neither took his spot. Raridan wasn't all that impressive, and Stays left for Tennessee. Going forward to 2024, PFF ranks Evans as the 2nd best returning tight end in all of college football, and I would put him at number 1. While he has yet to put together a full season, just seeing that guy play in person and just seeing what he was starting to do this past year makes me believe that he's going to be the top tight end in the country. And currently, according to NFL Mock Database, there are lots of people who are starting to get trendy on him. He's currently ranked as a top 60 prospect for the 2025 NFL Draft, and there's a lot of mock drafts that have him going in the late 1st round. I truly think he'll play his way into the end of the 1st round, or maybe even into the 2nd, and will get drafted in a similar position to Michael Mayer. I think Evans has the perfect size for a tight end. He's got great athleticism, knows how to work and block, and will just have to put it all together this upcoming year. He'll have a more mobile starting quarterback in Riley Leonard, and I think this is going to be a great quarterback-receiver duo. One scout said, quote, "As long as he can regain his pre-injury form, Evans should be the ultimate security blanket for new quarterback Riley Leonard." I totally agree, and I think Mitchell Evans is the next great tight end and the next great Notre Dame playmaker. But if you think I'm wrong, let me know down below, and let me know who you think the best tight end in college football is, who will be the top guy for Notre Dame, and just your overall thoughts on him. Before you go, don't forget to also leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and check out all my other videos on the end screen, including my video about West Virginia quarterback Garrett Green. Hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.